it is Nikki. Welcome back to the channel. Let's talk about perfectionism. I was on vacation over this past week, and it was my goal over the course of that week to finish polishing and rewriting part 1 of my fantasy project. My goal overall, like my overarching goal, is to have that entire part 1 completely polished, completely ready for my beta readers / critique team at some point in September. Speaking of which, this is a good segue into my little sidebar. If you want to be part of that critique team and you're interested in reading my epic fantasy project, then you might want to hop over to my website and sign up for my newsletter, because my newsletter people are the only people who are going to have access to the critique reader sign up when I send it out in the fall. So if you're interested in being part of that team, please sign up for the newsletter so that you will get the official critique team sign up when I do send it out. I promise you will not get bombarded with newsletters. I rarely send out newsletters. This is just so that I can have all my contacts in one place. So part 1 had been like a thorn in my side for so long, probably since the beginning of the writing process for this story. And even when I finished my rewrite of the entire story, which you can see lots of videos about right here, I went back to the beginning and realized that part 1 still needed more work, less because of just obsessiveness and more because actual plot things had changed that I needed to fix. So that was like an actual necessary change that needed to happen in part 1. I'm on vacation, I have all the time in the world, I'm sitting down to write, all the ideas are striking, and then I write this entire new sequence, which is significantly longer than the original sequence, get to the end, and realize is this even better than what I had before? And I felt a little sick about it, to be honest. I don't think I've found myself in that spot very often over the course of my writing journey so far, just because my journey to this point has been pretty progressive. I feel like each step has been noticeably better than the last, and for the most part, when I've rewritten something, it's been an improvement from what it was before. So it was a little jarring and disconcerting to get to a spot where I wrote something, I put all that effort in, and then was second-guessing myself, is this even better? Am I just running on the spot, rewriting things that don't need to be rewritten? To be clear, I am obsessive. I am a perfectionist, especially in writing. I don't know if I'm a perfectionist in everything, but in writing for sure. When I'm writing things for school, guys, I really struggle to turn things in before the due date, even if I have them done, just because I'm always scared that I'll think of something in between when I turn it in the due date. So I'll typically leave it until the last day and just keep rereading and rereading and rereading, even if it was done days ago. Generally, I only feel good about turning something in if I've reread it 15 times and not really made any changes, which is a huge waste of time in university. Talk about creating your own problems. And even though I haven't been in I've finished a novel place for a really long time, I'm starting to wonder if I'm ever going to actually reach that place with this project, or if I will just constantly find things to change and never feel fully happy with it and just keep letting my perfectionist tendencies get in the way of actually letting the project go and deciding this is done. When I explored and kind of experimented with self-publishing a couple years ago, I did it with a project that I really thought was done, and I thought it was finished, but it didn't take me long to realize that that was not true and that I was not 100% happy with it, and that was one of the more demoralizing experiences of my life. I was sure, and then suddenly, and it didn't take long, I wasn't. And I realized, wow, I totally rushed into that. If I had taken my time, if I'd been more patient, I could have worked on it and made it even better. And I just felt so sick about it. So I feel that is probably a huge part of my perfectionism and my obsessiveness with this project and my writing in general today, because I've had that experience and now I'm just even more determined to make it the absolute best it could possibly be. I don't want to publish anything less than perfection, so I've taken it to kind of a not good extreme. But here's the thing, I feel I'm at a place where I need to ask myself where that comes from. Does God want me feeling this way? Does God want me this obsessed with perfection with this project? Is that helping me to glorify Him in what I'm writing? Probably not. On one hand, I firmly believe everything you do it unto the Lord. Give Him your best. So I obviously have that motivation to the best I possibly can with this project because I'm doing it in His name. But if I'm being brutally honest with myself, a huge part of it is just I don't want people to see less than my best. I don't want people reading something that I'm not 100% happy with. So that's a me problem. And that's a good thing in the sense that it drives you to do the best you can possibly do and create a project that is as strong as it can possibly be. That's a positive, but I think it can be taken too far. Perfectionism is something that I need to bring to God and lay at His feet. Lord, please help me to write this project and to make it as strong as it can be, but please help me also to know when it's time to let it go and help me in the letting go process. Happily, to finish the story that I started this video with, I ended up deciding, like, why don't I just let the people decide which of these two versions of the story is better? I asked my mom to read both. I let her have the original first, just so that she'd have that, like, baseline, and then I gave her the newer version, and it was a resounding yes for the newer version. She thought it was much more engaging, and I was really happy to hear that because A, it meant that I hadn't wasted my time, and B, that was the one that I was more happy with, so it was affirming for my writer instincts to know that that was also her favorite. Don't be afraid to consult people during the writing process. I know with beta readers that tends to happen at a stage when the story is pretty much finished and everything is polished, but that doesn't mean that you can't bring your story or things you're struggling with to people during that process and let them see the rougher stages of things so that they can help you with that. Like, that is one reason why I want to kind of move towards calling my team in the fall a critique team rather than a beta reading team, just because if I convince myself that, like, oh, this is a polished version of the story and hand it off to readers as like a final step, then if they have big changes that they think need to be made, I might be less willing or less able to make those big changes because I've told myself, like, no, it's done, I've polished it, it's finished. So this way I want it to be kind of like part of the process, like I am bringing people in to critique and help me to make it stronger, and it's not the last stage of the process necessarily, but it's a really, really important stage. I also want this team to have a cool name that pertains to the story, but I'll let y'all read it first and then we can pick a name after that. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free to like and subscribe and comment below with a way that you've tackled your own perfectionism. I hope this video has encouraged you to kind of push back on perfectionism a little bit and bring every part of the writing process to God, including the letting go process. As always, everybody, do not forget to spend some time in the clouds today.